Now today we will discuss about the folding of the embryo. The folding of the embryo begins at the end of the 3rd week. As we know, during the 3rd week, the embryonic disc, it is pear-shaped, flattened and triangular. By the end of the 3rd week, the embryonic disc is still flattened. It is not the shape or contour of the embryo. So, to attain the shape of the embryo, it is necessary the folding of the embryo. During 3rd week, in the median plane, from cranial to caudal, the structures are, first of all, understand this diagram. This is the yolk sac cavity. It is ventral. This is the amniotic cavity. It is dorsal. Now, this is the embryonic disc. Before folding of the embryo, if you go from cranial, this is the cranial and this is the caudal. If you go from cranial to caudal, the midline structures are the following. Number 1, this one. It is the septum transversum. It has been asked in the various examination which is the cranial most structure before folding of the embryo. It is the septum transversum. About the septum transversum we have discussed in the previous class. What is septum transversum and what is its role in the development of the various organs. Now, behind the septum transversum, it is the pericardial sac along with the cardiogenic area. This is the pericardial sac cavity. We also discussed the pericardial sac. In future, this forms the pericardial cavity, and this is the cardiogenic area. Means, if we go, this is the somatopelvic layer of the lateral plate mesoderm, and this is the splanchno-pelvic layer. In the splanchno-pelvic layer, in future, it is the formation of the primitive heart. So, this is the cardiogenic area. And the second important point, if we see the relation, the cardiogenic area is ventral to the pericardial sac. Means pericardial sac is dorsally situated while it is ventrally situated. Now behind this, it is the buccopharyngeal membrane. This 3rd number. Buccopharyngeal membrane, procaudal plate. It is the buccopharyngeal membrane where there is no mesoderm. Ectoderm is direct contact with the endoderm. Behind this, it is the brain vesicles. Now, this structure, it is the neural tube. Neural tube now modified to form 3 brain vesicles. It is the forebrain, midbrain and the hindbrain. And behind it, this part forms the spinal cord in the future. So, it is the brain vesicles with the spinal cord. And where is the notochord? Notochord is situated ventrally or beneath these neural tube structures. Then behind it, it is the primitive streak. This structure. It is the primitive streaks. This primitive streaks, it is decrease in the size and disappear by the end of the fourth week. So this is the primitive strip. Now behind the primitive strip it is the cloacal membrane. This is the cloacal membrane. Same like the buccopharyngeal membrane. There is no mesoderm. Ectoderm is direct contact with the endoderm. It is the buccopharyngeal membrane and this is the cloacal membrane. Behind the cloacal membrane, it is the connecting stalk with the allantoid diverticulum. This region. It is the connecting stalk. And this is the endodermal diverticulum of the yolk sac that is known as the allantoid diverticulum. So, before folding of the embryo from cranial to caudal, these structures are arranged. The most cranial structures, it is the septum transversum, and the most caudal structures, it is the connecting stalk in which the allantoic diverticulum is present. Now, after the folding, these structures change their position. In this diagram, it is the cranial folding and this is the caudal folding. Now, it is the head and this is the tail folding. Now, before discuss the diagram, first know the important points. Why this folding occurs? Now, the reason behind the folding of the embryo is the cells that occupy the central part of the embryonic disc. The cells that are present in the central region of the embryonic area grow rapidly. They multiply and divide and grow rapidly compared to the cells that are present on the peripheral region. And as a result of which, there is the overgrown of the central part of the embryonic disc. As a result of which, the embryonic disc shows the development of four folds. One is the cranial fold, that is the head fold. It is the cranial. While caudally, it is the tail fold. And there are two lateral folds. So, this embryonic disc undergoes four types of the foldings: cranially, caudally, and the two laterally on the both sides. Now, what is the result of this folding? These foldings convert the flattened germs. We have discussed earlier. The embryonic disc is flattened, pierced. So, as a result of this folding, this flattened germ disc is changed into the cylindrical embryo. And this folding establishes the contour of the embryo. There is a term. It is the tube within a tube body form. This is form of the embryo. Tube within a tube will develop as a result of these four types of the foldings. So, we know why this folding occurs and what is the effect of these foldings. Now, what is the effect of these foldings on the two cavities? There are two cavities. One is the amniotic cavity that is situated dorsally, and the second is the yolk sac that is the ventrally. Now, as a result of the folding, this amniotic cavity enlarged in the size. Now, as a result of the folding, this amniotic cavity is enlarged and it covers the outer surface of the embryo. Now the embryo is completely covered by this amniotic cavity, and as a result of which the embryo floats into the amniotic cavity. Now we'll see in the diagram. Now the embryo is floating into the amniotic cavity. As a result of this folding, the amniotic cavity enlarged in the size. Now, these four foldings, the four foldings converge on the ventral surface of the embryo in such way that the amniotic membrane, the membrane that lines the roof of the amniotic cavity, it forms the tubular investment around the connecting stalk. Around the connecting stalk, it forms a tubular sheath, and now this connecting stalk changes into the umbilical cord. Means, as a result of this folding, this embryogenic membrane forms a sheath around the connecting stalk, and this sheath is formed because the four foldings. Suppose this is the embryonic disc. Now this is the ventral and this is the dorsal. It is the cranial folding, two lateral folding, then this is the cranial and caudal folding. These four foldings, cranial, caudal and the two lateral folding, converge on the ventral surface. Now this is the ventral surface, and this opening, this embryo now closed from all sides, covered by this amniotic cavity except this opening region, and in this opening region it is the umbilical cord, and this amniogenic membrane forms the sheath around this connecting stalk and change into the umbilical cord. Means these four foldings converge on the ventral surface, means in one direction. It is not one on the caudal, one on the dorsal and one on the ventral. All the four foldings converge on the ventral surface, and as a result of which this connecting stalk change into the umbilical cord. Now what is the effect of this folding on the yolk sac? As a result of the folding, yolk sac is reduced in the size. Now this is the important point. The amniotic cavity enlarged in the size. It completely encloses the embryo. Now the embryo floats into the amniotic cavity, but the yolk sac is reduced in the size. It undergoes an hourglass constriction. Hourglass, this is the hourglass. Means there are two dilated ends of this yolk sac connected by the narrow channel. So this yolk sac undergoes the hourglass constriction, and this is occurs due to the ventral convergence of the fold. Think again. Behind it is the amniotic cavity. In front it is the yolk sac. When these foldings converge ventrally, they capture a part of the yolk sac within this cavity, and a part is present outside this. As a result of which, this is the hourglass constriction, and a narrow channel that passes through the umbilical cord connects these two parts of the yolk sac.